Welcome. Welcome to Sip&Talk.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world, and welcome back to Sip&Talk.
So glad you could join us.
Today, we actually got a bit of a distress call from a listener in Taiwan. He said his ears are about to grow calluses from hearing the same old cliche over and over again.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You can almost smell it, can't you?
You can.
And that's not gunpowder you're smelling. That is the smell of logic just completely burning up. Today's topic, relying on the U.S. for independence, relying on Japan, relying on the military. I've even heard relying on electricity for independence.
It's become China's universal verb, right? That phrase, plotting independence, you can fill in anything you want. Europe, Australia, even AI.
Totally.
I actually heard someone joke that it could even be relying on a balloon to plot independence.
I love that. The balloon. It's just so absurd. It perfectly captures the ridiculousness.
It really does. It reminds me of this analogy we came across that was just chillingly accurate.
The rice one?
Yes. It's like seeing a man eating his lunch and you run up and accuse him of relying on rice to plot manhood. Right. He's already a man. He's just eating.
Exactly. And that's our mission today. We're going to break down this cliche for you, look at the logical fallacy behind it, and then talk about some of the best counter strategies.
Okay, so let's start by, looking under the hood of this whole thing, the anatomy of this fill-in-the-blank accusation.
Right. Because it is a template. The structure is what makes it so effective as a propaganda tool. It's really built on two parts, one that never changes and one that's, completely flexible.
The fixed core is the charge itself, plotting independence. The Mandarin is Mudu. And this is so important because the goal isn't to analyze what's happening.
No, not at all.
It's just to assign guilt immediately. So before you even know what the action is, say, buying some equipment, the motive is already labeled as a conspiracy.
And we have to pause on that word choice, plotting. I mean, the political weight of that word is huge.
It's massive.
It instantly turns a normal action, like a defense meeting or a cultural exchange, into something secretive and malicious.
Yeah.
If you're just engaging with the U.S., that's diplomacy. But if you're plotting with them...
then it's treason.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then you get the second part, the flexible variable, the X. You can plug almost anything in there that's linked to the outside world.
Or even things that just make you stronger internally. We've seen it with tech cooperation, like setting up a factory in Europe, or even just promoting democracy.
The intent is just so clear. This isn't language meant to describe something. It's pure political propaganda. It's designed to frame Taiwan's totally normal diplomatic or economic actions as this, sinister plot.
And paint them as some kind of puppet, an unself-reliant puppet.
Precisely. So when we apply our rice-eating test to this, the whole template just falls apart. It fails on, three really big logical absurdities.
The first one is the most obvious one, I think. The premise is already wrong.
Yeah.
The charge is plotting independence, but, Taiwan has been a de facto independent sovereign entity since 1949. It's that classic issue of, you can't plot to get something you already have.
Right.
They have their own elected president, their own constitution, military, currency, passport. The reality isn't some future thing they're trying to achieve. It's the present. It's been running for generations. The charge just ignores the status quo.
And the second point, which I think is maybe even more critical for people to get, is the reversal of causality.
Oh, this one is key.
It is. Taiwan's need for external support, buying defensive weapons, strengthening security ties, it's a reaction.
It's a defensive reaction to a threat. Specifically, China's very explicit refusal to rule out using force.
It completely flips the script. It turns the victim, who's just seeking security, into the aggressor, who's supposedly plotting to change things.
Yeah. It's like, if you buy a better lock for your door, you're not plotting to burgle your neighbor. You're just buying insurance because there's a known risk right next door.
But with their logic, buying the insurance is proof you plan to start the fire.
That's the knot. Exactly. It makes no sense.
And then there's the third absurdity, the just blatant double standard.
We see this everywhere in international relations, but here it's so stark. China itself relies heavily on partnerships. Think about its deep reliance on Russia or the Belt and Road Initiative or its reliance on global supply chains.
For sure.
So if Taiwan's military buildup is relying on the military to plot independence, then you have to apply that same logic back to them. What is China's massive, decades-long military spending spree? Building aircraft carriers.
Expanding into the South China Sea.
Right. What is that, if not relying on the military to plot? What, bullying? Plotting regional hegemony?
It's a framework where only one side is allowed to act like a normal country. If they're the only ones who can have alliances and increase defense spending, they're basically saying they have a monopoly on power in the region.
So, okay, given all these, logical flaws, why does this language keep coming up? Why is it so predictable?
This is where we have to shift from what is being said to why it's being said. We have to look at the cognitive warfare intent behind it all.
And it's really interesting because the language is strategic. It's often aimed at multiple audiences at the same time.
The primary audience, a lot of the time, isn't even the rest of the world. It's the domestic population inside mainland China.
Absolutely. The rhetoric is simple, it's clear, it's very emotional. By labeling normal foreign relations as like an imminent national danger, a plot, it justifies whatever countermeasures Beijing decides to take.
It's a really powerful tool for internal mobilization. It fires up nationalist fervor.
Yeah.
It suggests that any action taken against Taiwan or its partners is just necessary self-defense against some dark conspiracy.
And just as importantly, it avoids having to talk about the real source of the tension.
Right.
It's much easier to blame the U.S. or Japan for meddling than it is to address the fundamental differences, like, a thriving democracy versus an authoritarian system.
It keeps a spotlight off their own choices.
Then on the external side, the language is all about creating a chilling effect. This is an attempt to pressure other countries in Europe, Australia, India to back off.
They want these partners to be afraid that just having normal ties with Taiwan will lead to political punishment or, get them dragged into a conflict.
We see this so clearly in the tech world. Let's say a big European tech company wants to open a research center in Taiwan. It's a smart economic move, right, to get talent and secure supply chains.
Totally normal business.
But that plotting label will follow immediately. And then that company has to weigh the benefits against the risk of being sanctioned.
So the ultimate goal is to get Taiwan to censor itself.
That's it, self-censorship. Beijing wants Taiwan to second-guess every single international MoveTech cooperation, hosting a democracy forum, you name it, for fear of being called a plotter. It's a cheap and very effective way to isolate them.
Okay, so once you understand the structure and the intent, the question becomes, how do you fight back? How do you neutralize it? We've sort of distilled 5 key counter strategies from the analysis.
And it's all about moving from a passive defense to actively reframing the conversation.
So, strategy number 1, reject the word plotting by reestablishing the facts. The goal here is to just refuse the premise that the action is sneaky or evil.
Right. Don't get dragged into an argument about the plot. Instead, you just recategorize the action as open, transparent, and normal.
So don't say, we're not plotting with the U.S. Say, we're working with the U.S. to consolidate regional security.
Or for supply chains, you'd say, we're partnering with the EU to diversify global supply chain risk. I mean, every government on Earth does that. It makes the plotting accusation just sound paranoid.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Okay, strategy 2, the double standard check.
This is about immediately applying the exact same logic back at the accuser. Don't just absorb the charge, you externalize the comparison.
And this is where specific data, like from SIPRI or ISAS on military spending, becomes so powerful.
Oh, for sure. You can point to the numbers. You can say, look, while Taiwan's spending is defensive, the sustained, high double-digit growth in your military budget is what's actually destabilizing the region.
The data really reframes who the aggressor is. If one neighbor increases their defense budget by 5% and the other by 150%, well, the picture becomes pretty clear.
Okay, strategy 3. Translate the political jargon into life language.
Yeah.
And use humor.
This is my favorite. You just lean into the absurdity to reduce the political weight of the whole thing.
If someone says relying on AI for independence, the comeback is, well, if that's true, then every country developing tech is relying on AI to plot global domination. It's just progress.
Or we bring back the balloon. The real purpose of relying on a balloon to plot independence is peaceful reconnaissance to find the next great bubble tea shop.
Exactly. It just makes the whole template look weak and silly.
All right, number 4, define independence as a present reality and focus on values.
This is a really important shift. It moves the conversation away from some future political move and focuses it on defending a current democratic lifestyle.
Right. So the analysis points out that Taiwan's international engagement isn't about declaring something new. It's about defending the right of 23 million people to choose their own future.
It's about consolidating democratic values, and that's a much harder thing for anyone to attack on the world stage than, say, one specific meeting. It makes the core issue about values, not just geopolitics.
And finally, strategy 5. Refuse the chilling effect.
Yes. Just take action. The analysis suggests that the most effective defense is to simply continue and even increase international engagement.
Because stopping is exactly what the accuser wants. The more active Taiwan is globally, economically, diplomatically, the higher its security margin actually becomes. It raises the costs of any potential conflict.
So the response isn't a defensive denial. It's a confident confirmation of reality. When you're accused of relying on X, the best response is something like, yes, and thank you. We will continue to rely on X, Y, and Z to pursue a more peaceful, free, and prosperous life.
So what does this all mean for you, our listener? When you hear that phrase, relying on X for independence, the most important thing is to just question the premise. Don't even get into the details.
It's a language trap.
It is. The moment you start explaining why you're eating rice for lunch, you've already accepted the bizarre accusation that you're plotting manhood.
Exactly. The best counter is to just keep eating that rice and maybe make it taste even better.
There you go.
And as always, we just want to remind you that we're here to provide objective facts and analysis for discussion. We aren't endorsing or criticizing any specific government or group. We always encourage you to think critically and for yourself.
So true.
And if you enjoyed this analysis, please be sure to subscribe to Sip&Talk.
And don't forget to check out our old friend Mickey's YouTube channel, Mickytolife, for some great memes and his latest travel vlogs. We will catch you on the next one.